So I got sober in Wichita, Kansas, which if you can get sober in Wichita,
Yeah.
you can get sober anywhere. But that 6-day binge ended, predictably in handcuffs and police and bullets and, a
Bullets?
bunch of people shooting at my car during a crack deal, somewhere in the middle of that 6 days and no sleep and like just the whole deal. And, and I recognized in that moment that, it was the moment that I was gonna have to decide, did I want to live or not?
Sometimes I make mistakes in my life. Life goes on and on and on and on and on. Yeah, hey, I got wisdom from my papa. He ain't have a lot of money, but he taught me how to keep the perfect posture. So folding under pressure, that ain't something that I'm about to. Crabs in the barrel, I'm just trying to be a lobster. I hit my cousin, told him to call. It's been 12 years and I ain't heard from him at all. Had a little fallout over some money. Damn, ain't it funny how the smartest people be beefing like they some dummies? But I hope you doing swell now. Hope your family well now.
Welcome to Primary Purpose. My name is Pej, and I'm your host. My guest, Charlie Engle, has lived a life that defies limits, one defined by extremes, endurance, and extraordinary transformation. Charlie's story could fill a dozen lifetimes. After years lost to addiction, a near-death moment in Wichita, Kansas changed everything. A hail of bullets, a moment of clarity, and a vow to turn his life around. He's been sober since July 23rd, 1992, and what he's accomplished since that day is nothing short of astonishing. He runs across the Sahara Desert, 4,300 miles in 111 days. He's completed the Ironman in Hawaii, conquered the Borneo Eco Challenge, and even turned his camera work into national television features. When life threw him in its toughest challenges, including time in federal prison, Charlie turned adversity into fuel, continuing to prove that true endurance isn't about running, it's about rising. He's a world-class ultramarathoner, author of Running Man, and one of the most inspiring voices in the space of perseverance and purpose. The conversation is pure energy, a deep dive into what drives the human spirit to keep going, no matter the distance. Please welcome the unstoppable Charlie Engle to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thanks.
Good
so
to have
glad
you
to
here,
be
Charlie.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's hear about you. What's your background? Who are you? Who's Charlie Engle?
Man, I'm 63 years old. How much time you got? So
Lay it on me.
So, I grew up in North Carolina, so I still live there now, and had very young parents, 18, 19 years old, college students, and kind of grew up in this super bohemian household where, I actually thought tie-dye was like a color. It turned out to be lots of colors.
Yeah.
And I was an only child and just kind of found my way through all of that time. Parents divorced, and both of my parents had a lot of substance use issues.
Oh, they did too.
In particular, alcohol, was the primary mechanism. It was the 60s, so it's kind of hard to tell, what other things were going on.
Right.
But as a
we
kid,
can use our imagination.
yeah, no doubt. And as a kid, I certainly, observed it all. And I learned that technique that a lot of people learn early on as kids of coping and kind of survivalism, and always reading every room that I went into, and, taking the temperature of the people who were there, and just kind of understanding. And I figured out pretty early that it was easier to be a rule follower to a certain degree. That didn't last long.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you follow the
no,
rules?
I didn't for a while. So in high school, I certainly did, and I was the good athlete and good student and active person in the community and doing all the right things. And then I went to Carolina, UNC Chapel Hill, as basically an 18-year-old freshman, and lo and behold, I discovered that you could drink as much as you wanted in college, and that was almost like a vocational path for me.
But you weren't drinking before? You were?
I really wasn't. I was too busy.
Would it be fair to say that you were kind of a late bloomer? Because 18 is...
Yeah, it's not that I didn't have a few, instances of being drunk, but I loved sports.
Yeah.
I loved playing
You were athletic.
ball. Yeah. And so I
You're more
didn't
driven.
want to, I couldn't fit it all in. And I was more concerned with making the state playoffs than I was about getting drunk on the weekend,
Yeah.
at least at that point. And then I went to college and I found out that everybody else in college had the same resume. Well, and they all had the same resume. I was no longer special as a student, as an athlete, as, you know, I was the funniest guy I knew, but that's just my opinion. But,
Yes. And
and I discovered alcohol and I discovered cocaine almost immediately after that. And, you know, this is the 80s, or as I call it, the cocaine decade.
For sure.
I mean, it's kind of back again from what I understand, but
the people around here don't know about that Peruvian flake.
Oh man. And we drove to Miami sometimes, like, cause you could
there's plenty
buy super cheap.
It was being distributed.
Like off of boats, like practically into your arms or
planes
nose.
and boats.
Yeah, and you know, and I was the guy while my college friends could do a couple of lines, and you know, we'd put lampshades on our heads and do the whole thing. At some point at 2 or 3 or 4 in the morning, they'd go to bed and get up and go to class the next day. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, let's keep going.
Right. And there was never a time where I didn't, and I mean never, not one instance ever in my life where I didn't do all the drugs that were available.
I can relate.
You know, either I ran out of money or I ran out of drugs, or I never ran out of will around drugs. And not surprisingly, by the second semester of my third year at Carolina, they asked me to leave. Like, I hadn't gone to a class for an entire semester, and who knew that meant that you were going to get kicked out of school?
Yeah.
And I began what we all know in recovery as, you know, my series of relocations. So for about 10 years, you got it. So for 10 years, I was in Seattle, Carmel, California, LA, Atlanta, St. Louis, Baltimore.
Just partying? No more school?
No,
in the mix?
You know what? I was the guy who would, because addicts are the best salespeople.
Yeah.
I mean, we are the best. We can convince anybody that I will never do that again. I give you my word, like, no matter, and we mean it.
Yeah.
That's why we can convince them of that.
Yes.
Like, we mean it when we say it. So I'd go to Atlanta, I'd get a job selling fitness memberships, and I became like in a whole chain of Bally's fitness clubs. At 23, I became the top salesperson in the entire chain, and I got a girlfriend and rented an apartment, and 6 months into it, it's like, I deserve to celebrate.
Yeah.
And, and I would start that path of just destroying everything, and 6 months later, I'd move again and do it all over. And so my attitude is very much like, hey, if I could buy a car, and eventually even at like 24, buy my first house in Monterey, California, like, I can't have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, how could this be a problem? I'm doing the stuff that you're supposed to be doing.
So financially,
married.
you were able to survive wherever you ended up.
I snorted everything I made, but I still managed to pay the rent and pay for the car and, whatever.
Yeah.
But, and eventually, I had to go to rehab to get people off my back. I certainly didn't go voluntarily.
How old were you when you first went to rehab?
24.
Okay.
24 years old. I go to rehab in Pacific Grove, California, and like it was 100% to appease my father, to appease my boss. I wasn't married yet, but I was dating the woman I would marry. And, there were a lot of ultimatums coming my way at that point. And I recognized that I needed to take the heat off.
Yeah.
And I was a superstar. I got through those 12 steps in about 3 weeks and, stayed sober for 6 months because I thought that overachieving in sobriety was, what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
And like, I was just going to be better at this than anybody else. And of course, 6 months to the day, I relapsed and started another, that is what I call my crack years. So that relapse led to about 4 years of hardcore crack and drinking, and still kind of hanging on. I did what entrepreneurs do. I started a business that allowed me to travel and have no accountability and actually make good money.
What kind of business was it?
So I chased hailstorms around the world for about 20 years into sobriety too. But
Chased
Yeah.
hailstorms?
So I'll give you the super short version. In Monterey, California, I was selling cars, Toyotas.
Yeah.
Not a surprise that I would be a car salesman,
Yeah.
right? And I became the top salesperson in the United States for Toyota. So like selling a lot of cars every year. And Fort Ord, which was the military base there, actually closed down. And that was like 80% of our business. And a guy had come through like a month before, and he was showing us this technique of fixing dents in cars without painting. Paintless dent repair. And this is like the late 80s.
I remember those times.
Yeah. And so in 1990, I started a company called Universal Hail Repair, and I started chasing hailstorms around the country.
Oh.
And I would set up deals with car dealers,
That
and
makes
it
sense.
was super lucrative. And yeah, it was a terrible, terrible idea for somebody struggling with addiction.
Yeah.
But it was perfect. And it allowed me this, you know, in Denver and Oklahoma City and Omaha, and like I would go into a new town, I'd go to a bar, and I'd say, where are the great places around this city, you know, that I can go have some fun? And people would say, you know, go here and go here. And eventually the bartender would say, but whatever you do, like, don't go down to Colfax in Denver. And I'm like, okay, so I can avoid that. Where is that exactly?
Yeah, exactly. You know
And
exactly
I'd
why you
go,
want to
and
be
that's
there.
where I go. And like I would do the deal and try to keep everything afloat. And then my wife, you know, did the unthinkable. She got pregnant, and how dare she?
Yeah.
And apparently it was mine. And
Well, she's your wife.
well, that's true.
Yes.
But she reminded me of that too.
Yeah.
And I know she was great. And like, but that was when things switched for me, and I decided, okay, that I wanted to actually be a human being, because I didn't feel like one at that point. And like, this was my chance.
Right.
This new little baby was gonna save me, like, and change everything. And like, for like that long, it worked.
You mean the baby came and
Yeah, the baby
you
came.
quit smoking
I was
crack?
friggin' dad of the year for like 2 months.
No more drugs?
No, well, for 2 months.
2 months.
And you know, I didn't replace with anything else other than the baby.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, in a couple months into that, into his life, nothing happened, no argument with my wife or boss, and I just drove to the hood and spent 6 days smoking
Colfax?
crack and drinking. This one was actually in Wichita, Kansas. So, yeah. So I got sober in Wichita, Kansas, which if you can get sober in Wichita,
Yeah.
you can get sober anywhere. But that 6-day binge ended, you know, predictably in handcuffs and police and bullets and, you know,
Bullets?
a bunch of people shooting at my car during a crack deal, you know, somewhere in the middle of that 6 days, and no sleep, and like just the whole deal. And, you know, and I recognized in that moment that it was the moment that I was going to have to decide, did I want to live or not? And, you know, and I did. I recognized in that moment that I did. And I went to an AA meeting that night. And I've been to a lot of AA meetings up to that point, all to get people off my back.
Sure. That's what a lot of people go for.
First time I stepped into an AA meeting, I mean, I literally am looking around. This is in Atlanta, you know, so many years before, and I'm looking around. And I'm like, it seems like these people have actually quit drinking. Am I in the right meeting? Because
Right.
I'm here just to try to get this under control, right? Because drinking was really screwing up my drug use.
For sure.
And so, you know, so this was the first time that I took it seriously. And I got up the next day and I went for a run. And I committed to doing those two things every day for 30 days. And I got a sponsor, you know, the very first day I walked in. Old guy. Now I'm the OG. But, you know, he was in his 70s. And, you know, I was 29 years old. And he tricked me into coming in and making coffee every day, you know, to be of service.
Sure, I know that trick.
And the very first day I ever met him, he's like, you know, to keep it, you have to give it away. And, you know, someday it'll probably be tattooed on my body, but like it's the thing and the concept that really set the course for the rest of my life.
And that was it. You stayed sober.
Yeah.
Ever since.
Yeah, for 3 straight years, I went to a meeting every day for 3 years without missing a day. And I ran every day for 3 years without missing a day of running. And I understood that I was not going to survive. My life depended on how this was going to go. And I think for people in new sobriety, it's actually okay to set some benchmarks. Like I set 30 days and then I set 90 days, but I made goals. Like, I mean, 90 and 90 and all that's not an original concept, but for me, it was.
Do you know where 90 and 90 even originated from? Supposedly, it was a judge that had someone in their courtroom too many times for a DUI, and so he said, "We're going to sentence you to 90 meetings in 90 days in hopes of you catching the message and learning how to do something differently in your life." So I never really, like, I heard it a lot in the rooms, but I never really, like, what's 90 meetings in 90 days?
Yeah.
You just stop then? You stop
Right.
going? So, I mean,
Well, I dig into the details too. When somebody says 90 and 90, I'm like, can I go to like 3 meetings in one day?
Yeah,
and then
of course.
skip days? Like, what are the rules
Clever addict.
here? Right, exactly. Can I, if I
Shape-shifting.
show up late or I need to leave early, can I get somebody to just sign my sheet? Can I sign my own sheet? Which the answer to that
I
is
did that.
true.
I did that.
Yes, I can.
That's what made me stop going to meetings.
Yeah, yeah.
Different color pens.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if there's such a thing, but I'm hoping there might be. I was telling you a little bit about this business I'm involved in, but I'm hoping there's a way that we can have, God, it sounds like electronic surveillance, so maybe it's not a good thing, but like where.
You can prove.
Yeah, you can prove
an
that
air
you were
tag.
there, right? You were there, and you were there for the whole time, or at least your
He's
phone
at the
was.
Alano Club off of State Street.
Well, at least
at
you were
noon.
there the whole time, and at least your phone was there. And
Yeah, yeah.
most people are so tied to their phones that they wouldn't dare like give it to somebody else for an hour.
Yeah.
They wouldn't do that.
No. Well,
So
maybe.
no. So anyway. So you know what I found for me, and I'd be curious what the mechanism was for you, but for me, I had to have physical movement and recovery in the rooms. I had to I do make jokes about it, that whether it's burn off the crazy, whether it's like, I needed to like just burn this energy before I could actually sit down and say a prayer with other people and mean it. So I don't know.
That means that's why you were running? And
Yeah. I mean, it was also a form of self-punishment. I mean, looking back, I recognize now that I felt like a piece of shit. So part of me punished myself because running.
Punished in what sense?
Well, just physically, like I could make myself literally hurt by running because there's anybody who's run, if running is a very quick mechanism to give yourself some physical, I don't know if it's pain, but exertion, being out of breath, that feeling of like just having sweated like crazy and sort of giving it all. For me, it sort of levitated me to a better place, a higher place, whether it's endorphin release and a lot of similarities.
Sure,
in
I
some
did that a
ways.
lot with the gym.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't really a fan of running for some reason. I don't know why.
I know why.
Why?
Because, and I say I
want to hear
I
it.
want to hear if you feel like this theory holds water, but like as kids, the second you can walk, you walk. The second you can run, what do? You run everywhere.
Sure. I used to try to race my friends and think I was the fastest one.
Of course.
But
And
when you get older, and for some, maybe all the drugs I used and all the smoke that went in my lungs, I just run out of breath.
well, but as a 3, 4, 5-year-old, you want to run everywhere. And then you go to middle school and some middle school PE teacher uses running as a punishment, or a coach does, and all of a sudden now you're running suicides, which we called them back then, in the gym, and you're hating it, and you hate this coach, and you hate everything
it's
about it. So
psychological.
it really embeds this idea that running sucks.
Yeah. Well,
And-
I don't think it sucks for anyone. I'll drive down the street and I see some shredded dude or woman or something like that running, and here's what goes in my mind. How does that person run in this weather, run like 3 or 4 miles? I'd be done from here to the end of the street. Like, I'd be dead.
Okay. First of all, though, I look at you and I talk to you, and that's a story that you're telling yourself.
I like walking long distances.
Well, okay, so if
that's
you-
how I
and-
lost a lot of weight.
And to be honest, walking is just as good as running, if not better. I mean, I have paid like, I'm in great shape.
Yeah.
Not just
Are your
for
knees
my-
affected from
course.
from a lot of running?
I mean, I run like 120,000 miles. How
Oh my
how
God.
could you not
Yeah.
have
Yes.
issues? But I'll tell you something. I had a big presentation at the Boston Marathon years ago, and one of my favorite talks in front of 1,000 people, runners. So it was this cool opportunity, and they're used to like watching Olympians. Like I'm just some dude that they don't know, and I'm telling my story. And at the end, some very nice, well-meaning lady raises her hand. She's like, "I saw that, like a couple weeks ago, like." 3 people died at the Chicago Marathon. Like, is running dangerous?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah. Like, no doubt, running is dangerous. But did you see there was an article the next day that like 6,320 people died sitting on their sofa with a remote control in their hands?
That's a lot
That
more than
shit
those 3.
is dangerous.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? If you want to
Yeah.
avoid danger, stay off your sofa and do not watch TV.
Exactly.
And I mean, obviously I was being a smart ass, but like there's this, people use it as an excuse, of course, because it's, it's uncomfortable. But walking is,
I might go for a run later because you just motivated me
Come on.
psychologically.
But here's the thing. You
Not
should
in
walk,
92-degree
but
weather.
you should walk, run. I mean, you should.
Oh, you mean like
I
walk
should
a little,
never-
run a little?
I don't like to say sentences you should, but
You,
if
you might
would-
want to try.
You might want to try walking and running. So I tell people all
Does
the
that
time.
mean walking a little, running a little?
Absolutely. So like
I could do that.
walk for 5 minutes, jog for 2 minutes, walk for 5, jog for 2. And then as you're doing that, you will find through time, you'll get more and more comfortable with more running. But here's the thing. We take time off as adults from things like running. And then when we dive back in, we don't have any moderation. So we haven't run for 10, 20 years.
No
and all of a
endurance,
sudden
you're
you're
not
going to
used
run a
to it.
marathon.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course, you hurt your Achilles, you get a sore calf, like whatever happens.
Yeah.
Because, you haven't like done it in a way, and I'm not a moderate guy, so I'm speaking to myself. But like, to be able to just find your way in that. And I don't know, running I wonder what you think about this. A lot of people, I ran like 35 marathons in the first 3 years of my sobriety. And I even had my sponsor friend, was like, seems like you might have a problem. You might have a running problem.
Like an addiction to running? Yeah.
And it was interesting. What I was trying to do, I think, was like eliminate the runner or the addict from me. Like I almost wanted to like beat that person to death.
Yeah.
And what I actually learned for me was that, my addictive nature is all the best parts of me. Like it's actually what makes me good at things.
Yeah.
And I wonder what you think about that. How you see that part of your personality.
I'm glad you asked because I think now that we're talking about this whole running thing, if I'm anti something or not psychologically, it's just like it doesn't look appealing or I did a Spartan race one time, right? Murderous. Like after I was never gonna do this again, never. The running part was bad, but all the mud, like getting stuck in the mud and all, bullshit. Like I was like, who talked me into this bullshit? But I did have a counselor when I first got sober. He's an angel. Like he was the man that motivated me to change my entire life. And he lived in the recovery home I went through, right? And he was a former heroin addict, mainlining heroin right here in LA, homeless on the streets for a while, bank robber, got away with every robbery, right? And he had these pictures on the wall. I'm like, who's that? And he goes, well, that's me when I first got sober, because he was like 25 years sober. He was bald, but like he's had a little bit of hair then.
Yeah.
And I go, doesn't even look like you. Why are you running like that? He said, oh, I go to the marathon twice a year. I'm like, well, that's nice for you. He's like, oh, no, I get all of us to go. I'm like, all of us except for me. I will not do that. Like, I didn't go to one of them.
Yeah.
I went, but I didn't participate.
Yeah.
I was there to cheer them on when they came through the finish line, give them water. However, over the years, like even in recovery, like I've fluctuated in weight, yo-yo, right? I could gain a lot of weight and then I go down depending. But like 15 years ago, I started Googling, how do you lose weight fast? And it said, go for a half an hour walk every day. And then extend it to an hour, and then drink a lot of water, eat better, all that stuff. And so then I'd lose weight. I was, oh, well, this is working. But I always, like, even at the gym, I see people, like, especially the ones that run for more than 10 minutes, 5 minutes. How do they do it? I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I'll run out of breath. I just will.
That just means you're going too fast. And I mean, I'm
If I
actually
run
not,
walk, I
I'm
might
not
be
being
able
a
to slow down.
smart-ass.
No,
Like,
no,
it
you're right.
really-
You gave me an idea today. Maybe that whole run walk thing.
You have to just slow down. Like, I mean, it really is like, if you can't hold a conversation while you're running, I mean, here's a trick
hold a
you might
conversation
want to
with who?
use.
Another person I'm running with?
No, well, either that or, I mean, I take any call that I hate Zoom like more than anything else.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to be on it.
Yeah.
But if I already know you and we're friends and you want to have a call with me,
Let's
I'm
just
like,
hang out.
I'll call you.
Yeah, talk to you. Yeah.
I'll call you. And how about this? How about you go for a walk and I'll go for a walk at the same
While
time
we're talking?
while we're talking.
Well,
and your
that's a good
brain works better. And like, I've had a therapist for
Challenge
15
taken.
years.
You're going to give me your number.
All right.
All right.
For 15 years, I've had a therapist, and the only time we ever have a session is when she walks and I walk, and like we
That's
do
pretty
it
cool.
together. You know, because it gives us both an excuse to be outside in nature, and like your brain operates better when your body is moving.
You're right about that. Like, I'll tell you, like, you talked about endorphins. When I work out as a recovering person, well, it gives me a different type of high.
Yeah,
You know?
Well, what's interesting is like I feel you got a powerful personality, and you're
Because I know how to run my mouth.
well, right, but also you know how to create a story, and we all do this.
Yeah.
You're good. I can feel it. Like with running, like you've got your story around Spartan and running, and you're sticking to it, and you can back
Like
it up
I'll never
with
do it again?
evidence. Exactly. And
Fuck no.
You have evidence
Yeah.
that you're going to do that. So
Watch this year. Charlie's
I was going to say
he's going to talk me in. Something's going to happen.
But-
it better be cold outside.
Well, here's the thing, though, and I do talk about this all the time.
It better be
like,
raining.
Do hard things on purpose because
That's why I did that.
well, life though. The things that are most formative in your life, and I'm not asking you to share it unless you want to, but like if there's a thing, and I think it comes to all of our minds if you focus on it, like what is that one most formative thing that happened that made you who you are today?
You mean as a sober person?
Either. It can be either, honestly. And just not to bury the lead here, and again, you're welcome to say, but it's almost certainly hardship. Right?
For sure. No,
I mean,
it stemmed
winning
from
the lottery
the most traumatic
changes our
event in my life is what changed me.
Right.
But that happened in a recovery center through a psychodrama, reliving a day of a car accident where
Was it hard?
in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's my pitch
Yeah.
to you, and this is nothing but a pitch.
Maybe my
It's
mind
like
thinks
if
that
you-
was good enough. That was the hardest
Well, if
thing.
you run a marathon, so chosen suffering,
Yeah.
like you didn't choose it that day. Like you were there,
Yeah.
and like you were
No,
either
someone
gonna
did it
have
for
to-
me.
Right. You're either going to have to do it or not do it, like whatever. But
Yeah.
like when you positively make the choice to like walk the Santiago in Spain, like
I
you
like
know, the
stuff
path
like
of
that,
faith.
but I don't- yeah,
right.
yeah.
If when you make that decision to do that, I mean, I really believe that what it does. I've run 100 miles or more, probably 100 times or more. Not one time in any of those did I not question my sanity and curse myself at some point during that event.
So that
Like,
means the whole time that you're running, each time you're asking yourself, why?
what
the
am I
fuck
doing?
What am I
Like,
doing?
what is
this
wrong with me? Like
every time?
every time, at least once or twice. But the point is,
But you just push through.
that's the moment I want to get to. Like that's the whole point, is how can
That's
I
the
get
real
myself
high.
to the place where I'm empty,
Yeah.
where I am certain I can't keep going, and then find a way. Because I don't think even in relapse therapy, I know you do a lot of interventions. You know, this is just my belief.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we go through hard times. Like a relapse happens in a moment. And like you have to find a way when you're alone and you've got access to drugs or alcohol or whatever your thing is, and
To
you have
tough
to
it through.
find a way to not do it. Just for a minute, just for 5 minutes. Like
Right.
very often that really is the period of time that you have to get through. And, you know, as a sponsor, I've sponsored lots of people, and I am like the anti-sponsor. People will call me and say, "Hey, look, man, I'm having a tough day. Like, I really want to drink." I'm like, "Shit, if I had your life, I'd want to drink too." You know, because
Good
I mean,
answer.
I'm watching what you're doing, dude,
Yeah,
and
you're burning
just,
it to the
You're
ground.
making a mess of this.
You're
whole
well on your
thing.
way.
So, you know, I don't blame you. I said, but do me a favor. How about don't do it today? And like, I give you my word right now
Yeah.
as your friend, if you still want to drink tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'll buy the 6-pack and I'll come over and we'll drink it together. I've said it 100 times and not once.
Knowing you though, Charlie, you're probably like, and why don't you come over to the house and we'll go for a run walk for
Right.
like 2
Well,
hours.
I do always suggest going for a run, but like,
I think that's a good thing.
but you already know, nobody wants to be told no. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to be told, please don't do that. Like, those are predictable patterns. And I don't think that generally I know I don't want to be told don't do it. I want somebody to say, I hear you. I feel what you're going through. You know, don't fuck this up. But if you really want to, how about doing it tomorrow?
Good. I like that.
And, you know, one guy out of all the years, but he had already relapsed.
Yeah.
So he cheated.
Yeah.
So by the time he had
he
called
lied
me,
to
he said
you.
he was thinking about relapsing.
already
and he'd
fucked
already
up.
done it. So
Yeah.
I did not bring a 6-pack to his place. But, you know, but I always look at that as like, you know, sometimes you have to help somebody else find their new bottom.
Sure.
But all of that is a long way of saying if we choose, I think, our suffering physically, it prepares us for those moments when the bottom drops out in our marriage or our job or something that's really important to us. And if we've never felt what it feels like to be empty, then you don't know how to deal with that.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I understand that.
So we're going to run something together or walk something together.
I'm down.
Yeah.
I actually come to North Carolina
Okay.
often.
Very good. I love it.
Maybe when I'm out there doing strenuous work on the hard line, like on the front
Yeah.
lines with some addict
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
shot out, I'm going to call Charlie.
So is
and be
that
like,
is
let's go for a
intervention? I mean, you travel a lot for interventions.
all over the country,
Yeah.
globally.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I've been in more.
I'd love
Hotel
to be your
rooms.
wingman sometime if there's
down to
ever
take you.
a role for that. You know,
For sure.
I can actually be quiet.
No, I like it. I think it would be good that those times when I'm staying in a hotel for a few days and I think, should I go to the gym today? If Charlie's with me, I'll be like,
Yeah, Yes,
we
I
will
should.
go to the
Yes,
gym. We're going to
we
go
will.
for a run
We will.
in the neighborhood.
I'll make it fun though. It's I think that's it. It's finding joy, and I mean I feel that in you too.
I appreciate. No, I love my life, and I can tell you love yours.
Yeah, and it's finding joy in the hard stuff. And I need to get better at, and I will tell you this because you didn't ask. That's why I'm going to tell you.
I will be
So
asking those.
my running life led to this big adventure running across the Sahara Desert, and it's a thing that
Well, I was going to get to that.
Okay.
You know what?
All right.
As a matter of fact,
Please.
when I was researching you, because the producer Shane he sent me a video of you, and very well put together, very nice. The thing that inspired me the most about it is you chose all these places in the world. Some of them I've never even heard of, and there's like goals, like to go from. You kind of spoke about it earlier too, to go from one place to another. But you said something about like how humans interact in those places,
Yeah.
and I think that.
Yeah.
I'm down to come on something like that with
Yeah,
you.
I would love
Are we
it.
going to be running a lot if we did it?
Biking, running, but you know what? There's always a sag wagon, so you can run a few miles and walk a few miles, and you can get
I'll be
in the
like,
car
here's-
and
here's
you can
me in a-
throw.
here-
I love frozen
Hypothetically
grapes,
speaking,
by the
if
way,
I
so you
was
can
to
just,
ever
like-
be in a marathon, guess who? You know how a lot of them want to win?
Yeah.
Be the first ones?
Yeah.
I'm the guy. You guys just go.
I'll see you at the end.
I'll take 2 hours if I have to. I'm not here to try to beat anybody.
I think age has allowed me the recognition that, I might even be able to set some more records or whatever, but who gives a shit? Like,
Yeah.
really, I am so not interested in, there's
the
that
first
guy
guy.
running across sand again. This is riveting. Like, what else are we going to do? So it really, I view it much more as cultural exploration.
Yeah.
Fancy
Well, you want to
way.
hear something crazy? I mean, you may not believe this. When I grew up in Utah, I was a star swimmer. I
Okay.
took state champs
Ah.
as in the
Yeah.
50 free, but that was in the 8th grade. I had a lot more energy. I hadn't put all the dope
You're
in
a
me.
sprinter.
Major sprinter.
Yeah.
Practicing every day, all the time. My coach told me, "You keep this up, you're going to the Olympics." And within 2 years, I was in the drug Olympics.
Yeah. Yeah. Gold medalist.
Yeah, totally, totally.
Yeah. Well, you know what, though? And I know you know this. You probably tell other people this. Those two things are so closely related. The drive that made you a state champion in swimming made you a kick-ass addict.
For sure.
I mean,
and that's why in sobriety I want to be a kick-ass,
yeah.
recovered person.
Yeah.
That's how I'm trying to help.
Yeah, well, you don't have to I do. I remind parents and people because, I'm not anywhere to your level, but at the times when I speak to families, because that's the question I get most often is people coming to me about their husband, wife,
loved one,
son, parent, whatever it is, how do I help this person? Without me telling you what I say, I'm actually really curious. What is your answer if a stranger, let's say you were giving just a talk. I don't know if you do that kind of thing.
I do.
Like if you're going to give it a presentation, somebody comes up to you after and says, I have a coworker, or no, let's make it more personal. My son is 25 years old and he's a heroin addict and I don't know how to help him.
You want me to open my phone right now to show you how I probably have like 10 of
10
those
of those, right. So
per day, or
yeah.
if not more.
Yeah.
Because of I have a social media presence, so I am out there displaying myself
Yeah.
as a person that's that can
I'm
help.
probably going to add to your list by
For sure.
sending people your way. So.
By all means, please do. But I usually like to get a quick breakdown of what's the situation. Example, 26-year-old son, well, how long have they been using? What are they using?
Yeah.
Where do they live? Are they homeless right now? Are they living with you in your house? Are you enabling them? Without asking, are you enabling? Do they have a job? Do they pay the rent? How long has this been going? Are they in psychosis? Is it fentanyl? Is it alcohol? Right. I'm getting asked these quick because if I let them talk, they're going to go on. I don't have time for all the stories because I've already heard it all.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you quick questions, give me quick answers so that we can get right to how we could possibly maybe help them. And then usually I'm not, because some of them say, will you just call my son and talk? When I was in active addiction, if you put anyone in front of me and said, talk to them, I'm like, miss me with that. Like, we're good.
Yeah.
No, I want to actually talk to you and see what you need to be doing to help you because you might be very enmeshed with your son, right? You might be the problem. You might have created this monster, but I wouldn't say that right to their face. But I would definitely say, let's help you before we help him so that once you get educated and learn what to do, then we might be able to put him in a position to ask for help.
Yeah. Well, I love that answer, and thank you for that because it's an important point for me too. And I also can say, I asked you that question. I didn't realize I was doing it, but at 25 years old, my own son was a heroin addict and had been for years, 5 or 6 years at that point. So here I am, this not only long-term sober person, but somewhat well-known in sober circles, like whatever. And as a runner, there's a lot of people that do long-distance running who are part of our brotherhood and sisterhood because it's a personality trait that kind of goes with it. But
you mean like recovery people that are runners?
Absolutely.
Love it.
Yeah, it's a big community out there, which is cool because we get to go do things together that we enjoy doing without all the
I feel like I'm gonna get jumped in. Yeah. Keep it going.
This is attraction over promotion.
I don't mind. I don't mind. I actually like it. Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
So, but you know what? So I had to take my own advice with my own son. He'd gone to rehab. He'd gone to a 90-day rehab a couple years earlier. He'd gone, which is very expensive. Stayed sober for a little while. He went to another one.
What was your own advice?
Well, and I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
So, and another IOP, and finally we go through this next iteration of what's going on with him.
Yeah.
And I had to let him go. I mean, honestly, I had to let him go. I had to sit him down and say, I love you. I'm always going to be here for you.
If you want to be well.
Yeah, but I'm not going to, I'm not paying any more bills. I'm not,
cut the umbilical cord.
I'm not doing anything, and none of it is out of my disappointment in you because I'm not disappointed in you.
Just can't support this.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to go do what you have to do. And understand, though, that I'm accepting the fact that you may not survive it. I said those words to my own son.
It's a hard thing
and I can't stop it. I knew I couldn't stop it. So it was mostly just... and he had to go do his thing. And, when he was finally ready, he called me and I didn't take him to a rehab. I took him to a homeless shelter that a friend of mine ran that had a treatment center, a year-long free treatment center attached to it in North Carolina with 500 men.
I think I know that place.
And and he kicked ass and he did it for himself. It was It was nothing.
You might have saved him.
I did, and of course he saved himself.
Sure, but I'm saying by you not being enmeshed
Yeah,
anymore.
no doubt.
When you've already done the impossible, what still scares you?
Oof. Wow. So what pops into my head there is not being able to physically anymore, not being able to do the next thing that I want to do, you know, as I get older and as my body begins to certainly struggle more.
Yeah.
And also not being, I'm trying to be equipped for that next phase. There's never going to be a time where I don't want to move my body.
Yeah.
But the purposes behind why I'm doing it, I don't want to always have to have a huge goal.
Even though you have huge goals.
Even though I do.
Before we even started filming, you talked about some huge thing going on.
Yeah.
That sounds like
But that's
huge
self-discovery, I hope.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't know. I don't have any friggin' answers. And people
we're always
think
discovering,
33 years sober. It's like, you know everything. I know nothing. I know that I'm not going to drink or do a drug today. Like, I'm pretty sure
That
about
sounds
that
like
anyway.
some Socrates shit.
Yeah.
The only thing I know is I don't know, even though he knew a lot. Okay, now, do you think some people need to lose everything before they can truly wake up?
Man, I had to. I don't think that, you know, as we know in sobriety, you know, half measures availed us nothing. And I actually think that that's true in addiction. I certainly am not a person capable of taking a lesson like I almost got into a car accident, therefore I need to stop drinking.
Yeah.
I've got to get into that accident that nearly kills me or someone else before I can actually make the move to make the change. And I that's just the way it's always been for me. And you know, I would like for that to be different. I'd like to make changes in my life without there having to be a catastrophe attached to it.
I like that. What's the difference between being sober and being free?
It seems like the obvious answer to me is I don't know. You know, which is like, I mean, oh, man, sobriety isn't freedom. And it's freedom from addiction.
Sure.
It's freedom from some things. But I translate my sobriety into not addiction to other things, but into a never-ending curiosity. The best thing that's happened to me in the last 5 years, weirdly, is COVID, which sounds crazy, but like COVID forced me into really, really strong breath work and some other, you know, meditative, because I'm that guy who always said, I'm like you with running. I'm like, I can't meditate. I just accepted it.
See, and I can meditate.
Right. So I accepted it, and I just told anybody who cared or didn't care.
You know why I like to meditate? You don't have to do much. You just sit
It's
there.
true. But I like active meditation, which is breath work to me.
Breath work is awesome.
I could do an hour of breath work that's like,
I do breath work all the time.
doing psychedelics without any drugs.
Exactly. You go into other realms of your mind.
Yeah.
And sound bath. I like that
That
too.
is freedom, by the way. I mean, that is freedom. You know, the freedom of
breathing.
waking up and knowing that I have choices. The best moment of the day is that moment when the eyes open and the day is full of possibilities.
I love it.
Yeah.
If you could go back and talk to your younger self before everything fell apart, what would you tell him?
I would say it doesn't matter what happens to you. It only matters what you do about it.
I like it. And you kind of did go back and tell it to your younger version of you with your son.
Yeah, I did. And I'm
that's your
reminded,
offspring.
and I'm reminded of this every single day. I make decisions, and you know, like most humans, a percentage of them are wrong, and some are like really wrong. And the opportunity, talk about freedom. The beautiful part about being sober is I get to change my mind. I get to change directions and shift, and you know, and be able to say like, okay, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, or the way I hoped it would. So now I'm going to do this. And
I love it.
I didn't have that choice for a long time.
When did you finally forgive yourself, and what did that moment feel like?
What time is it?
You mean it took this long?
Ugh, when did I finally forgive myself? Is that part of this?
Or are you still doing it with all the long, strenuous runs?
No, honestly, I forgave myself. And you know who else I forgave?
Yeah.
And there's the long process here, but my mother was she was my person, you know, in life. Like, she was that person that was always there for me no matter what. And she drank and smoked to the end and whatever else. And the acceptance that came through therapy, the acceptance that I was lovingly neglected as a child,
Yeah.
allowed me to have a little bit of anger for her, but not like at her, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
My mom's been dead 7 years now, and this happened during these 7 years. So I didn't like have the realization, Mom, you suck. You know, it was me finally being able to say that she wasn't a perfect mother, and I didn't need to spend the rest of my life defending her mothering or the lack of it, you know, and I don't need to be an apologist and say that she did the best she could,
yeah.
but did she? And I'm okay to actually recognize that
She did the best she could with what she knew what to do with.
she prioritized her. And I actually, you know, I tell parents all the time, and I'm going to bet that you do, you know, if you have built your life completely around your children as if they are responsible for your happiness, you're way off base here, man. You need a redo, because you are a valuable adult human being who's spent however many years, however old you are, preparing to be the best person you can be. And if every bit of your energy is directed at your children, especially ones that are struggling, you're not teaching them anything. You're not teaching them how to like be an adult. You're teaching them that somebody's going to come rescue you every time something goes wrong.
Well said.
So,
What do you think most people get wrong about happiness?
they attach money to it. I mean, honestly, I think that is I weirdly sort of operate in a world of a lot of wealth. I'm not wealthy at all. I'm a very middle-class person wealth-wise, but I spend a lot of time around it, which is actually really enlightening because I see what most people obviously know. Like, wealthy people take much cooler vacations than I do for the most part, but their happiness level doesn't approach mine.
I understand that.
You know, the vast majority.
I think
of the
that
time.
a lot.
Yeah.
I think that a lot.
And I don't. If somebody handed me a pile of money, I'd probably say thank you, and put it in the bank and hope to hell I don't actually change much of anything.
Or maybe go on some of those nice trips
Go
that you
on-
can afford
actually,
and enjoy them more.
Yeah. Or spend more time like helping other people, I would hope.
I love it. Do you think purpose finds us, or do we have to fight for it?
Man, I absolutely think that I said this earlier today, you know, words said to us by a stranger in passing can change the entire course of your life. So I do think purpose finds you in the form of you being open to the universe. You know, I am that guy, like it or not, who will talk to you on the airplane if you sit next to me.
Yeah. I could.
Even if you have a book.
Why does that not surprise me?
And you know what? I have made some of the most amazing relationships and friendships ever.
Yeah.
Now, I always have a book on my lap in case 2 seconds
In case the
into
guy
it,
doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah, or...
I'm the guy that'll talk to you if you talk to me.
Yeah.
But if you don't say anything, I got nothing to say.
Yeah, and I so
I'll
I
be on my
think,
phone.
and the point to your question though that's related to that is so many things come out of my wife jokingly, although I don't think it's a joke. She says, like, on my business card it should say collector of relationships. And like, so the coolest, most fun thing that I do is to not only love meeting you and like we're going to be friends, but there's no attachment to the level or depth of our friendship. It's not going to be disappointing if we don't talk to each other every week.
I get that.
It's not going to be like more amazing if it's just letting it, I think it's letting it be what it is. And I think for finding passion, your input is going to help shape the direction that I go, you know, probably because I'm open to it. And
I get that.
You know, I always want to find a new path.
Wonderful. Well, thank you to my guest, Charlie Engle, for being here. Where can people find you?
Man, right out here on the street in just a little while.
You don't have to live like that anymore, Charlie.
Oh, thank you.
Do you have a
I do have a
social
website.
media?
So charlieengle.com is the easiest thing. And my social media is on there. There's now a very newish but robust WhatsApp channel. I'm sorry. See, I can't even
YouTube?
say it. YouTube channel. See, I'm so.
What's
like,
your YouTube channel called?
So, shockingly, Charlie,
Charlie
Engle.
Engle.
There's a theme here.
Yeah.
So I do have a book called Running Man, which I'm happy to say is
have a
still
book.
very much in print.
That's a big deal.
You know, audio books these days. Don't buy my book or read it if you're trying to like learn how to run a marathon, because it really doesn't have shit to do with that.
Okay.
It's called Running Man, but it's more of a memoir and sort of my journey to this point. So, and it is my phone number and my email on my website. So if you want to reach out and talk about, you know, anything that we've covered today or didn't cover, then I love it.
I love it. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for coming
My
on
pleasure.
today. Well, that was a great episode. I think that the man wants me to run more. It feels that way, at least, and that will never happen. But then again, if I hang out with Charlie, I'm sure it will. Anyway, what a great episode. He definitely is an inspirational human being out there doing good things, and most definitely isn't going to relapse, that's for sure, but driven and inspires many. And I think that I've been inspired definitely to get active more, because I don't think I went on a walk today. Either way, if you like this episode, please subscribe. Please comment in the comment section. We want to hear from you. Share this with everybody. We are the Primary Purpose with Pej podcast. My name is Pej, and until we meet again, love you all.